Well, good afternoon. Well, anyway, good afternoon here in Venice Airport, Italy. And we're ready to start our second leg of our tour around the world. If you remember, the previous episode was we landed here on the 22nd of February. So it's now the 28th. So we spent a week in Venice, and that was fun. I mean, if we look at StraytWay, where we are. So here we are at our parking place, Venice Airport, and Venice is just around the corner. So we took just a taxi across the pond here, and that brings you right here at the central or the arrival place in Venice. And then we stayed here at this place, and we got to see Venice entirely. I mean, what is this? The Piazza San Marco, of course. And the Giorgio, no, what is the name of the San Marco, and then the other Isola San Giorgio with a big, huge cathedral. Got to see that as well. Well, we saw everything, and of course took a trip on the Grand Canal here. That crosses Venice, but unfortunately it's a foggy day. We're gonna leave now to continue our trip, so when we take off we won't be able to get a view of Venice, which is really unfortunate. But anyway, so the idea is to go 500 nautical miles from where we are now. That's about our trip size. So I'm gonna put our distance from to our current position, the left corner. So in the left corner you see the distance from our current position to the crosshair. So we're gonna put that at 500. And why don't we go to, yeah, well, with the tip of, why don't we make it, could go to Athens, but that takes longer than 500 miles. That's 700 nautical miles, and it's too long for one trip. So we, but that does bring us. If we later on have to go this way, and if we go now here, then okay, let's go for Athens. StraytWay gives the names in the local language and local writing. That's why this is in Greek. Athens gives you a nice flavor of local culture. You should approximately know where Athens is. And does Athens have an airport? I suppose it has. Oh, there's one. That looks like a huge big one, and that must be Athens International. Well, my Greek, not even my classical Greek, is not up to scratch, so it's hard to tell for me where, if that's, but that's looks like a big place. So that's Athens International Airport. What's the weather for? Gonna put our target there. That's 690 nautical miles. Yeah, probably have to, in our weight and balance. It's just a guesstimate. It's now at 70. I'm gonna make that 80. We'll check later in the FMS of the Cessna if necessary. So how do we, how are we gonna get there? Just put in the, suppose we're gonna land at runway, the right runway, and what will be the weather? So we have, this is the weather for Venice. 1024. Just remember that if we have to put in our barometer. 1024. Then Athens International Airport. What's the weather in Athens? TF Athens. Athenia. Athenia Venice, is it? That's probably the name of the this one. Yep. Just to get a fix on the dew point visibility, it's VFR for the time being. And the wind direction is runways. Doesn't suggest the wind direction, so we have to watch it. 60 knots, 20. So we'll be 20 from 20, blowing from 20 degrees, 60 knots. So we should take that into account. So we'll probably land on here 21 right or 21 left. Let's take 21 left. 21 left, so this one. So how do we do that? Place a marker here. There you go. And then another marker at the other end of the runway. The other threshold. And this should be your before last waypoint, so make it a waypoint number 1. Waypoint number 1, it says on top. And this should be waypoint number 2. It's standing easy. There's no navigating around mountains necessary. Just gonna check on the mountain map. Is there any challenging terrain? No. So if we fly in from here, it should be okay. So this one, we may want to avoid this mountain. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna insert or add another, just first reverse the order of the waypoints. So now the threshold is waypoint number 1, the active threshold. The non-active threshold is waypoint number 2. So we go to the last one. And we're gonna add here. So we're gonna fly in from here. Like so. To make sure that we don't hit that mountain. It's VFR, remember? So this is our number 3. I'm gonna reverse again because this will be our number 1. Reverse, check the course. So this is number 1, this is number 2, and this is number 3. So if we fly to number 1, we're right. We're set for our journey. And the only thing we now still need to do is to get the elevation of the airport, and that is to pick up an elevation number, and that's 80 meters. Gonna enter that right away into our navigation screen. How do we get the VFR navigation screen? Just go to the last waypoint, 1, 2, 3. And then make sure that you see the 216. That's the course of the runway, because it's from number 2 to 3. But it should be reversed. So click on it, reverse it, and now the little plane has appeared. It means you can click on it, and there you can enter the 80 meters. Click. We'll take the standard pattern altitude of 1500. Click on the orange, and there you go. We're set for Athens. It's 689 nautical miles. Perhaps we'll stop over at Rome if the weather is. Perhaps we can descend there. I don't know. We'll see. But that's Okay, we're set up in StraytWay. Now we need to start up the Cessna, but that's don't use any checklist. Just it's not a flying lesson. Just the basic stuff. Put on, make sure our parking brake is on, and then our battery on. Emergency lights armed, and then the whole avionics suite. Fire it up. As usual, we are not gonna use any of the FMS or even the primary, the multifunctional flight display, the MFD, except perhaps for terrain. So we're concentrating on the primary flight display. And what we're going to do is set the barometer. Again, we're trying to do this as realistic. I mean, doing all this from a VFR point of view. So it was 1024. We saw it was 1024. So 1024. Eyes are a bit tired today. There you go, 1024. I will be cruising at our standard altitude of 41,000 feet. And what was the... so Athenai, it's called. So it was Venice, Tessara, Venice, Venezia. There it is. 170. 3 knots. Okay, we'll take off to the south if possible. Flight level change. Let's make it our standard 230 knots. There's no auto throttle. Oh, that's too much. 230. Like so. And let's arm our heading, and we'll set that the buck once we're on the runway. And then why don't we set our flaps already? Well, we'll make that for the pre-takeoff checklist. We'll keep that for that. It's a foggy day, and we're gonna fire up the engines, start up the engines, warn the people, beacon on, and nav logo, why not? I think we can spare it. And there's number 1. Our throttle is down. And just starter number 1. Yeah, it should go to N220, but apparently that's not even required, so remove the clack, run, put it back. Number 1 is starting. Yeah, it's pretty foggy. It's a typical winter day for Venice. Remember the film of I think it was Visconti, Death in Venice. Also very foggy. And engine number 2. Remove the guard, run, put the guard back, light up the place a bit. We're gonna need that, I think. Right, it's starting up, so we're gonna have a look at our taxi map. Change map to the cultural map, meaning everything made by humans. That's the first map, like airports. And well, we don't do ATC, we don't do airspaces. So we're gonna decide ourselves how we're gonna taxi. We're gonna take off to the south. So we'll be taking off from runway. Could we take the intersection? I think we can take the intersection. That should be long enough. So this will be our target. And we'll see what we do. So we'll be going there. So that means we're gonna taxi here. Gonna put a marker there so that we know when we approach, and then just follow Kilo, taxiway Kilo, so on uniform, and then Kilo, and then at holding short of runway 22 right, which will be our takeoff runway. Is the guy on the left still there? Yeah, he's just behind the bar, I think. Yeah, we're gonna run him over. We don't have a choice. Okay, let's go. First our taxi lights. Yep. Brakes release. And throttle 20%. There he is. There he goes. Yep. Taxiing to taxiway. Not entirely straight. Oh, there's a line. Okay, there's our yellow line. Okay. Just watching StraytWay. Make sure you don't get lost. And this is the intersection where we have to turn to the left. So it's very easy to taxi using StraytWay. And indeed, the names of the taxiways are showing. Not of the parking places, that's too much detail for StraytWay, but the taxiways are showing. And of course also the names of the runways. There we are. I don't know why I was holding my yoke. Don't need it to taxi. Runway thresholds of 22 right, parking brakes just to the pre-flight check from my head, top of my head. The flap setting 15, and of course our trim setting. Yep, right down the middle. Gonna put on our anything on the TCAS parking brake. Oh yeah, the pitot. Our happy to heed. It's winter in Italy. Not a bad idea. And then our lights. Landing lights on and strobe on. So we're set for and then we'll think we'll do an intersection takeoff. Just go straight as far as we can. There we go. So we don't take the right turn here, we'll continue. Then take the next one. That gives us a few more meters, yards, feet, whatever. And this should be our... yeah, we're already on the runway. The little chime you hear is StraytWay telling us we've reached our destination. You see, because our destination was this little thing on the our target on the runway. Setting our heading back to runway heading, like so. So we can right away activate the autopilot, and we're parking brakes release and full brakes. Rotating at 110. Airspeed's alive. There we go. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. Perfect. And flaps up. Gonna activate the autopilot. That doesn't work. That works. The yaw damper wasn't activated. So here we are, climbing to at a speed of 230, reducing the power a bit. And yeah, sorry guys, no Venice. Venice should have been, so if you watch the map, that's how we're flying. Gonna fly a bit to the left. No, it's obscured by the mist. So here we are, climbing out from Venice airport. So here we are. Venice should be on our left. Last check, but it should be there. No. But since we're flying the weather in real time, we're not gonna cheat and remove the clouds. So, sorry, no view of Venice. But we're on our way. Well, not in StraytWay, so the yellow arrow still points to that little point on the runway, which is now 7 nautical miles away. Behind us, we're gonna go to our first waypoint, which is the water over Athens, remember? And that is 689 nautical miles, 2 hours and 50 minutes, Jesus. Okay, it'll be a long YouTube video. Something to fall asleep with, perhaps, I don't know. When we arrive, our apparent altitude will be 1762 meters. It should be VFR, but that's within 3 hours. So what we're going to do now is fine-tune our, so we're flying off. We should be at Athens, that's a bearing of 127. And we're doing 150, so we're going to turn a bit to the left, just visually, and we'll do the fine-tuning once we are established. feet, landing lights off, and I'm gonna change to standard pressure, just to keep the illusion that we're doing things. There you go. Europe it's usually earlier than 18,000 feet, so it's blinking now because it's set standard at 18,000 feet. At 18,000 it should stop blinking. And look at StraytWay, we are 2 degrees off, so we're 2 degrees to the right, so we're gonna push in 2 degrees to the left. So we're now magnetic 126, should be 124, 124. Now watch StraytWay should go to 127. StraytWay is true north, as opposed to the CG4, which is magnetic. Yeah, there we go. We're above 18,000 feet, and glorious day as usual above the clouds. A winter day over Europe, and here you can see the head of the that's the Adriatic, I think. Il Mare Adriatico. Does it say? We're still in Italian territorial airspace, because this is the territorial waters line, which coincides with the airspace. And there's a piece here that's international airspace. And apparently we'll be... So this is our way to Athens, if you don't believe me. Look at our... and you can see that it already starts to curve a little bit because of the curvature of the Earth. So the straight line on a Mercator projection is a curved line. To all you flat earthers. And a thing worth mentioning, so what you see in the background is this body of waters, and that's the Portofino. You can see this river running, so Portofino must be that must be Portofino. Right behind the plane must be Portofino, and then we have anything noteworthy. Ravenna, big art town. Nice place. Ravenna. Why don't we put our target on Ravenna? So go like this, and now the arrow points to Ravenna. So if you're in the plane, or we go to the belly camera, we're looking forward. Ravenna should be right angles. That's Ravenna. There we are. And that's 45 nautical miles. No, it should be behind. It should be there. It's behind the peninsula. This you see that straight line. There's that dike. You can identify it. You should be able to pick it up. That's it must be this. Yeah, I think so. Is that a road? No, that's a border. But Microsoft says it's a road. Apparently it's not a road, it's just a border. It's not a... StraytWay is more accurate than the Microsoft Flight Simulator. Yeah, again, so you cannot use StraytWay in a flight simulator unless you write some Python code to link it up. So it's like I did. It's meant for use in the real world. So hiking, cycling, sailing, and also VFR in airplane, like we are demonstrating with this flight around the world. And where are we in our cockpits? 31,000 feet. No overspeed or anything. Yeah, we're doing this really superficial. Again, it's not a flight instruction lesson, and not even a flight simulator flight instruction lesson. I know how to basically fly the CG4, but I'm not a pilot in real life, so it's just that the main purpose of these videos is to demonstrate StraytWay. There you go. Back to our trek, so because now we're pointing to the target. So how do we go to our route? Just click, you see the minus and the plus, click on the plus, and now you get 1. So this is, remember, that's our first waypoint, the waypoint over the Bay of Athens, where we're gonna line up with the runway to avoid that mountain. And that's 640 nautical miles away. Hopefully that will get shorter in time when we level off at cruise altitude. Then the speed over the ground should normally increase, and then we get a more optimistic estimated time en route, which is, when you see the time en route, you can change it to estimated time of arrival. But we're not gonna do that. And we're approximately, we're a bit off, 125, should be at 128, so turn to the right 3 degrees, 1, 2, 3. So I just added 3 degrees in the autopilot to the right, and now you should see the 126 go up to 128, because the Cessna is turning to the right. It's a bit jittery. It's like in the real world, sometimes the GPS plays up, but this can also be because of the link between the StraytWay and the Microsoft Flight Simulator. And it kind of brings a real life vibe to the party. climbing to our cruising altitude of 41,000 feet. And right on track for Athens. I'm gonna put in the... look at that, the weather is clear over the rest of Italy. It's really a shame we couldn't see Venice. So we over the Adriatic. I think it's called the Adriatic. Yeah. Normally StraytWay gives the name of the sea. Should be here somewhere. Or perhaps not, because it's just too large a body of water. It's like the Gulf of Mexico. Ouch. This is the Bay of... so it doesn't say bay here either. Perhaps on the other map it does say so. Oh, okay, so if you take, even gives the depth of the water. So it's the Gulf of Taranto, yeah, and here it will say the Adriatic Sea, so I was correct. So it's on the other map. I said you got two maps in your edition. You don't have the bikes and you don't have the buses probably. You have the two first maps, and the first map is somebody's told me it's called a cultural map. Cultural means anything human-made. And the second one is the nature map, so with the elevations, but the boundaries or the borders of a national park, for instance, that appears on the culture map because that's human-made, not on the nature map. So it's a bit weird. No, it's sequitur. It's a sequitur.
Altitude.
Getting to our altitude. Just checking. If I reduce the throttle too early, it will never get to that cruise altitude. So just making sure, keeping the throttle open in climb position. It's there's a climb indent, I think, on the throttle setting. If you go down and you watch it, then there it is. You can just about see it. Cruise, climb, and soaring climb now. And it says here there are blue indents on the N1, and it also says climb. And now I should change to cruise. Yep, it's captured. Our altitude is and it should change to cruise, but it doesn't. So I'm gonna do that anyway, otherwise we'll get an overspeed pretty soon. So bring back our yeah, to about 100. Ah, now it says cruise. Yeah. Good. Where are we? 128 on 128. No deviation. Perfect. And this time we get a good approximation. No, not yet, because we're still picking up speed of our ETE. It has been reduced to 1 hour and 40 minutes. That's a bit more optimistic. Gonna let the speed climb to I think it's a Mach 0.7 that the CGA is capable of, but not much more. It's fairly slow, but hey, never have pity with a man who has a corporate plane, private plane. I'm just gonna wait for it to stabilize, and let's see if this magenta indicator is still showing. We're still increasing our speed, and the idea is to stop increasing before we reach this red tape. I'm gonna reduce a bit just to make sure to 97%. Okay, starts up. Okay, now it stabilizes, and we can leave it alone. As I said, we need to do this because we don't have auto throttle in the citation. Anything else? Sightseeing? We are hugging the Croatian coast. Oh, we missed Pula. Very nice ancient Roman settlement town with its own amphitheater. Perhaps we can still see it. Then we have to look way back already, and it's there it is, somewhere. Nice windsurfing also. We're right on the territorial airspace of Croatia. So in real life, we would of course be talking to ATC all the time, and I considered for a while using the VATSIM, the virtual ATC, but that would have complicated things because I would have to follow their instructions. I couldn't use StraytWay. And the idea of this demos is to show that in an imaginary emergency, StraytWay is powerful enough to take you around the globe, including the landings. Talking of which, so we're gonna set our using StraytWay for VFR, but still, if there are clouds, we're gonna use it a kind of IFR, and we'll go to the MDA, pretty much a standard NDA of 500 above ground level, and I'm even gonna lower that to 300, and to do that I need to PDF menu. I think it's oh yeah, you need to control that really with the buttons PDF. Then you need to turn the outer ring. There you go. The config, the baro setting. I think it's the baro setting. No, that's the for switching to standard. Let's get back. So it's not that button. Perhaps this one. No, that's not it. No, the reference menu. Ah, there it is. Baro or radar. We're gonna do radar, and yep, switch it to 300 feet. So we get an extra warning. In case we get low visibility. Let's keep an eye on Athens in case the the VMC condition changes to IMC. Then we need an alternate airport. But we can put it 300 feet. There you go. But I don't think we're gonna need that today. $129 on 129, and it's 1 hour and a half of flight over the Adriatic. Not much to see really. And along the way, I don't think there will be anything. So that's what you get when you, yeah, that's, well, because all these maps are in the local language, like Sirnas Gora, but if you go to, I have a little help, which is, you see map overlay, the little boats, and next to it is English, and that gives you the really big city names and the name countries and the names of the regions. So, but also the map gets much more simplified. That's the drawback. So if you click on it and you go back, there you go. So that's Montenegro. What a weird name it has in its own language. That's Albania. But you see the map is seriously simplified, but now everything is in English. And if you, let's go to Montenegro, so if you zoom in on towns, yeah, it's still in Latin alphabet, even if it uses a lot of diacritics, you can still read it phonetically. See Zabljak, but if I change back now to the culture map, Zabljak, oh yeah, you can still read that too. And Savnik also, yeah, but not the name of, that's how it's, Srna that's how Herzegovina is called in its own language. Yeah, it's, sorry, Montenegro. Montenegro is called that way in its own language. But of course, once you go into Greece, so if you use this map, indeed, you can see everything in English. So not, unless you go to zoom in too far, like so here, then that information is no longer in English. But the big cities and the big regions are in Latin alphabet, which is what English uses. See? And even if you go to the Arab worlds, it should be readable. Like here, Luxor. Luxor, if you go to the culture map, then you see right away. So this is for me illegible. For other people it's perfectly legible, of course, but for me it is not. And all the details of the maps, the details are there, but only names that are commonly used in English worldwide are perhaps in English. You got the house numbers, but and you know, I like it this way. It's respecting the local culture, and you can show the maps to people locally also, and you will never lose your way because you have a GPS. If you know where you have to go to, you can see the roads. You don't need to know the names of the roads. To give you an example, if you go to I'm just freewheeling because we're We've got nothing else to do. To Cairo. That's all in Arab. But then suddenly, this is in English. See the golf club course? Somebody put it there in English because it has an international audience, probably. But most is in Arab. But the detail is unrivaled of these maps. And this is a hospital, obviously. And you can see the shops, where the shops are. So that's all you need to know. And if somebody gives you a number, a house number, you also get it. But perhaps our route brings us over Cairo. I don't know. It'll be over Israel, probably. And then on to... we'll do it stage by stage. We go approximately southeast. We started in Antwerp here. So we're now on our way to Athens. One to nine. And tell you what, I'm gonna go to the toilet, back in the airplane, and I'll be back for half an hour. And I'm gonna set the view on the belly camera, like so. And you have to decide for yourself if you sign out, but the video will continue. So I'm gonna switch myself out and there you go. See you later. Just getting back into the cockpit. Got knocked out on the coach. Back in the cabin. Very comfortable. All by yourself in a Cessna Citation. Well, where are we? So it says this coast here. That's what we see ahead of us. So that's the Turkish coastline. No, sorry, the Albanian. This is Albania. This must be Albania, because it's the capital Tirana. So the Albanian coastline, how far is it? Just look at the bottom left. The distance from our current position to the crosshairs is displayed in the bottom left. So that's 110 nautical miles away, that coastline. So it's a while. Speaking of miles, so this figure that you see halfway the screen on the right, 241 nautical miles, what is that? That's our top of descent. So within 240 nautical miles we need to start descending. That's as simple as that. You don't need to enter anything in StraytWay. It calculates that automatically. The only thing it needs is your runway and your pattern altitude, and then it calculates. It doesn't even need. It needs a pattern altitude, because you only get a top of descent if you are above pattern altitude. If you are below pattern altitude, you don't get or at pattern altitude, you don't get a top of descent. So I programmed it that way. That's simplest, and that's hands off. You don't have to set anything. So it's still a while. 230 nautical miles. We don't have a time to, because that's too complicated. I mean, I could do that, but then the screen is already cluttered, and then I could make a toggle switch. But if you got the nautical miles, hey, that's enough of information, I think. Well, let me know if you. I could change it easily into ETE, estimate time en route to top of descent. Perhaps that's more useful than in nautical miles, but you know, nautical miles, it's a hard figure. It doesn't mean ETE depends on your speed. If you're change it, a nautical mile is a nautical mile. I'm gonna keep it that way. Hope you guys can still hear me. Just checking. Yeah. You're fine. You may have noticed I wasn't really away, so behind the scenes I was adjusting the autopilot of the CG4 so that we keep nice, stay on track. You may also have noticed that I incidentally touched the throttle, and then I left the cockpit, and we were so the throttle was pulled down. So we almost stalled, and that would have been the end of the trip. So just to say, this is not a flight instruction video, but StraytWay will get us to our destination, all the way to the parking place, to the gates, if things go according to plan, which is a lot for an app that's for the time being free. I don't think I'm gonna change the base version, which is this one. Gonna charge for that. Probably earn some money through advertising. So right now it's free and it's without advertising, but if there are some downloads, I might start selling some advertising for depending on how you use it, for hiking, cycling, or sailing, or aviation stuff. Still have to figure out how that works with Google. Right. Coming up on the Croatian, the Albanian territorial airspace. And then we'll fly through, is it Greece? StraytWay Greece, yes, from Albania, and then we're StraytWay already in Greece airspace, Greek airspace, to our final destination, Athens. Anything interesting along the way? I'm not really a Greek mythology buff. Change the map to, perhaps you can pick up some names, interesting names here. That sounds familiar from my mythology. Or actual history. No, Central Greece. This is Athens and Poros, Argos. Corinth. That's interesting. That's where they have a canal. Hold on, I'm gonna switch to the other map. Yeah, that could have been a point of interest. Tell you what, why don't we add that as a point of interest? So that's the famous canal cut through rock. Just to Google and if we put a point, so it's on our way to Athens, really. So what I'm gonna do, so we're gonna fly over the canal here, and if I put a marker here, or why not just here? Yep. Somewhere here. And if I'm click on 0, so watch the top, go to 0, and if I add the marker, this marker to the route, that will be the first point normally, like so. There you go. So now we've got an extra waypoint added. This is our first waypoint. This is our second one, the one over the water, remember? And then the 2 waypoints of our landing. So you might be a bit confused. Why does the route first go to the wrong side of the runway, and then because we're never gonna go to this one, so we're gonna skip right away from this waypoint to this waypoint. This one is only there to give direction to the runway and also the distance, the length of the runway. So we'll never be flying to this point, we'll be flying to this point. So first this point and then the threshold. We'll be skipping, and you always have to do that. That's not automatic, so you have to go to the last waypoint, not the before last waypoint. And you'll see that's just a hack to allow you to enter the orientation of the runway. Yes, yeah, it works. So, right, okay, we'll need to adjust our route, probably. Yep, 4 degrees to the right. It's not much because we are still far away. So just go to the perhaps you can go a bit faster, and add 4 degrees to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that should bring us to the canal. Yeah. We're turning slightly. So now we're headed straight for the canal, and our top of descent. So the all the information has now disappeared. Why is that? Because we've gone out of the route. So as long as you stay in the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we went to 0, and then that information has disappeared. Well, you don't have to re-enter it again, but the you cannot invoke it. So what you need to do, just like we did in the beginning, go to the last waypoint, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and okay, it's already appeared, the little plane. Now you have to go to the plane and click again on the orange, and then you get, see, now get all the flight information. And that's because the StraytWay is really not meant for aviation. It's just for hiking and cycling, and then you don't need a top of descent, you don't need the apparent altitude, and you don't need your altitude really, not on the screen. The altitude is always displayed no matter what you use StraytWay for. Here on the bottom left you also have the altitude. See that? That's always there. But on this screen you only need it for this VFR application. 160 nautical miles to top of descent. And so the 36 is the orientation of our runway heading. Now if you go to the canal, that's number 1. So you see, as long as you stay in the numbers 1, the aviation information doesn't go away. If I would go to 0, then it's gone again. Then you have to reactivate it. But now, as long as you stay in the numbers, it's fine. We're flying to number 1, the canal, through the rocks in Corinth. And 170 miles to top of descent. 135, 135, and that's fine. Sun's setting. Well, not too much, luckily. But that wouldn't be a problem. Night landing is perfectly possible with a StraytWay. Even cloudy. Not officially, of course, because it's not approved as an IFR. Not even as a VFR navigation tool. But as a backup, for emergencies, it's perfect. It's always better to have StraytWay on your phone than nothing at all. So we're over land almost, and that's always fun. You can identify this little inlet. That's obviously this, but it's in Albanian, and yeah, it's pretty accurate in Microsoft Flight Simulator. You can even see no, that's just this is some sort of harbor. Another big one. And yeah, that's Albania. And Greece must be Dead ahead. Weather looks good. How far is it to the Greek border? Just take this point. It's 78 nautical miles. You can see the bottom left. 78 nautical miles to the Greek border. And then everything turns in Greek. I don't know how many of you had a classical education. I only had a semi-classical education, so only Latin, not Greek. As for the rest, well, I'm not sure if you know classical Greek, that you can also read modern Greek or understand modern Greek. I don't know, because that would be really useful. I mean, if you speak Latin, nobody speaks Latin anymore. Well, I'm not going to pretend that I speak Latin or even fluently understand Latin. I mean, my scores were average. So here you can see our little pattern we're gonna fly. You can already put it on one screen. So we made ourselves a little route, and remember the last the dog leg here is intended to avoid that mountain here. I'm gonna show it again. So pull up the elevation map. So this to avoid this mountain ridge. Otherwise we had a risk of flying in over that mountain, and we're gonna avoid that because this looks pretty flat, and that's also probably why the runway is oriented that way. So we have a nice flat terrain to, well, arguably it's not entirely flat. You got here a little peak of 230 meters. So we still need to, well, it's VFR, to watch out a bit. Anyway, we'll be turning over this island, which is, well, I can't read it. Perhaps this map, the other map, the English map. No. The English map just gives the bare essentials of places, and this is too detailed for the English map. And the other one, no, it's also apparently it's a military base. So military bases in StraytWay in OpenStreetMap are red striped. That means a military base. And this is Athens, and if you want to know where the Acropolis is, you have to look for that on site. But if you change to the other map, Acropolis means on top of the hill. Acro means high, and polis, it means city, high city, or state. That much Greek I know. But where's the Acropolis? Dear. Well, I visited Athens a very long time ago. This looks like a big... this could be it. This probably is the... oh, yeah, it says so. It's the Acropolis. How we're doing in our plane while we're sightseeing in Athens. So this is the Acropolis. Why don't I put a marker there? So we don't have to look for it again. And now change maps. There it is. Ah. The Acropolis. And then there must be the amphitheater. Amphitheater. This probably. Is that the amphitheater? Or is there another one? Oh no, here it is. Wow. So with StraytWay, you can you see the compass rose on the bottom left and right. That's the diameter and the radius of the. But now it's in nautical miles. But if you gonna do that for our American viewers, change to statute miles. Here, that's the little flag of imperial miles units. And now it's in yards. So the amphitheater. If you click, then keep it pressed. There you go. That's approximately. So you know it. The diameter is 88 yards of the amphitheater, and the radius is 44 yards. Yep. And the distance to yeah, I'm not going to do that. You could, but then we have to put in the aviation stuff again. That's all gone. Right. So you can, every single monument is on there, every little trail, every church, every footpath, every toilet, every what have you. Here, even the drinking water where you can drink, where you can sit to have a rest, and of course all the archaeological sites are indicated with an amphora, and it's of course crowded with the archaeological sites in Athens. Look at that! Look at that! Yeah, that's a. So those are in English. In tourist sites, things are often in English, and also every little restaurant, every unlike another map I can't name, every restaurant is on there. While our Cessna is cruising over the mountain ridges of. So let's go to our Cessna. We got the Acropolis here. Perhaps you're gonna see it. No, it'll be too far. Just to go to our Cessna, click on the button of the current position, like so. And now this is where we are now. We're only 20 nautical miles away from Greece airspace. Greek airspace. I keep saying it wrong. Whoa, got an overspeed. God knows for how long that had been going on. Yeah. Perhaps next time I'm gonna choose a plane that has an auto throttle, like, yeah. But it has its charm, auto throttle. At least if you're not explaining a navigation app. So how far are we away from... So it's 95 nautical miles for top of descent. So so we're not descending to the Corinth Canal. We're still descending to our airport. So the descent rate will be to our airport, but the track miles have become longer now because we added a waypoint to the channel. So the descent rate will be less, or will happen later now. So StraytWay takes that into account. The route to your airport, it calculates the right descent rate, but you'll see that within 90 nautical miles. Sun's setting. No, not really, but it is winter. And pretty soon she'll be gone. What I like about Microsoft Flight Simulator is, I mean, at 41,000 feet, you do start to see the curvature of the Earth, and you see that here. So this has nothing to do with using a fisheye lens. It's actually, you can see a slight curvature of the horizon, and that's what you would see if you're at 41,000 feet altitude. Normally, in a normal airliner flies at about 30,000, 35,000, but private jets, they can fly higher because it has to do with because they are smaller. It's easier to make them stronger, or to get a higher pressure differential between the inside and outside of the cabin. That means that they can fly higher. That's the reason why they can fly higher. It's not because they have better engines, but their hulls, because they are so small, can be made so strong that they can get a higher altitude and therefore consume less fuel. So that's one of the few advantages of a private jet, I think. Because otherwise, I don't know. If you look at the news, if there's an accident with a civilian jet plane, it's usually a private jet. (135, 137), we're a bit off, so I'm gonna add, back to the cockpit. 128, you see 128? I'm gonna change that to, well, it's 135, so to 130. 130, and now we should turn. See the shadow changing because we're turning. And yep, 136. If you ignore the jitters. And 137. So again, we're going straight for the canal, and 64 nautical miles, and I think I'm gonna another break. Take another break. Everything looks good. Our speed is a bit too low, but not gonna have an overspeed again. And I'll be back right away. See you later. back again. There we are. Where are we for our top of descent? 31 nautical miles. Oh! That's still in imperial miles, because we changed from the amphitheater. So yeah, be careful with that. Nautical miles, there you go. 24 nautical miles. Confusing, huh? American miles and nautical miles. Why can't you just choose nautical miles? I mean, right. Now you'll see once we hit 0, our top of descent, it's not a hard limit. You can continue, choose to continue. What it does straight away, it starts showing a descent rate as soon as your descent angle is at least 2.5 degrees. So then start also showing your descent angle. You'll see that. And you can decide, well, I want to go continue till it's 3 degrees, for instance, which is kind of the normal. Then you just continue till it's 3 degrees and then you start your descent. Or if you're in your airport, your destination is in a mountainous terrain, it's perhaps safer to keep your descent angle as high as possible so you can continue even further. But we'll go. We'll continue now to a 3 degree angle, which you'll see pretty soon. Wow, that's the Penepolesos, probably the mountain range north of Greece, in the north of Greece. Probably. Impressive. Mountain tops are at, well, there are some altitudes here. 1,000 meters. Yeah, it's not too high, but not too low either. 1,700 meters. That's one of 1,700 meters. 1,700 meters. That's nice. That's skiing territory. Even in Greece, I think. Okay, 5.4 nautical miles to our top of descent. Now you'll see what happens. 137, I'm gonna give it a nudge to the right, like so. 2.5 nautical miles, almost there. There you are. So for a 2.5 degree descent angle, we need to descend at 2,000 feet per minute. So, but we're not going to do that. We're going to wait till it's 3 degrees, and of course the descent rate will be higher then. What we also going to do already is our selected altitude. It's still our cruise altitude. We're going to set it to our pattern altitude. and we're gonna take the lower number, so 1700. Just that we don't forget once we are descending. And then we'll level off at our parent altitude. It's that simple. There you go. And perhaps also time to start looking. Oops. In our Meteo, and then the little Avia map. Avia weather, I think it's called. Go to Athens. Athenia it was? No, Athenia. Athenia. There it is. It is 125 of QNH. So we're gonna arm that already here in the 125. It's almost the same as in Venice. And that's really all we need to know. The wind direction is still hold a second. That's wrong. We are landing Athenia, so there's a wind coming from 20 degrees. No, it's not wrong. So we're landing to the northeast. That's correct. So runway 35. Okay, where are we? StraytWay on the 2.9. Continue a little bit till it's 3. Now what we're gonna do is set our vertical speed here to the number that StraytWay indicates as soon as we hit 3, which will be pretty soon, 3 degrees. There we go, 3 degrees. So we click here, and then we're gonna set our vertical speed to 224. Make it the larger number, 224. And of course reduce our throttle, otherwise we'll overspeed. So we're going to 224, and we have initiated our descent to Athens. And the Corinth channel, so on the left the 129 is our total route distance, and 68 is the distance to the Corinth channel, one that runs through the rocks. And we're merrily descending. You can see we have now a little, you can also see by our contrail that we are in fact descending at a good speed, and 2400 StraytWay says only 221, so I'm gonna reduce it a bit to 2300. So we have to, well, keep a bit track of it till it stabilizes, and then you don't have to do much more. And we'll keep descending all the way till 1700 feet, our parent altitude, at which time we will be approximately lined up for the runway, VFR. Looks like we're a bit off, but look at the map. We're a bit off. Look at the angle of movement. So the angle of movement is the one that starts at the crosshairs. If you're going straight to the this waypoint here, that should be aligned with this line, but it's a bit to the right, but that's not too bad. It's erring on the good side, so I'm inclined to leave that little error. So then we go this way, and then this way, and lands with a 15 knots. Wind is blowing from 20 degrees, so wind will be coming from this way, so we're perfect for this. And there should be the Acropolis on our left. Ha! I don't know, that's gonna see that. Where are we on the fuel? Yeah, because of we haven't put in a destination in the FMS, so it can't calculate our fuel. So we have to rely on the calculations done in Microsoft for that. I could put in a function for, but I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. You have to keep in mind that it's basically a hiking app, and that's been modified for VFR navigation. So I'm gonna leave it at that, at how it is now. And perhaps have a look outside. Yeah, that's that must be this island jutting out. This here, this peninsula that jets out, and that's this place here. We're definitely in Greek airspace. And what is this sea called? I'm gonna exchange maps. The of, oh, here is it in English. The Gulf of Corinth, of course. What else? So this is the Gulf of Corinth, and our channel will be somewhere over here. The famous channel. I don't know to what extent that's simulated in Flight Simulator 2020, because this is 2020, and I refuse to scale up because I don't need it for anything else. I'm not really a flight simulator buff. So there's a channel, and 143. Oh yeah, let's check on our descent rate. It says 1700. We're descending much too fast. But still for 3 degrees. That looks better. So we're not gonna fly low over the channel, we're just doing our descent, but the route will take us now over the channel. The Corinth channel. And it's 56 nautical miles away. altitude is still 35,000. You can check that on StraytWay. Our barometer for Athens is already set. We assume it's not gonna change anymore, so we're not gonna recheck. So there is the channel. There seems to be something wrong with looks like we lost connection with, hold on, it looks like we lost connection with because our speeds, our distances no longer seem to, I'm wondering what's hold on, I have to fix this. I'm closing the phone because I'm trying to fix it. That's the link between StraytWay and... okay, the listener had stopped. That's the link between StraytWay and Microsoft Flight Simulator, so you won't have this in the real world. And if we go now back to still no nope. And that's perhaps because, oh yeah, this should be better. There we are. Okay, got us back, but now we're already over the channel. Ha! There we are. So we're here. And, well, that must be the channel. There it is. The Corinth channel. And we just ignore our waypoint. What we're gonna do is we're gonna switch now to our next waypoint, like so, manually. So we now switch to our second waypoint. Just enjoy the channel here. Wow, that's really impressive. The Corinth channel. Beautiful. Perhaps take a screenshot of this. That's beautiful. Corinth channel. Good. There it is. Our belly camera. And we're on our way to... Now, we're a bit off with all that stuff, but no worries. Just So we're pointing now to, we should to point to the, so we're gonna turn a bit to the left. And our descent rate is, we lost our descent rate. Hold on. There you are. 1300. Reduce it. Turn a bit to the left. Again, we can err on the safe side. If we stay to the west of our turning point, that would be fine. I mean, it increases the distance to our runway. But again, that's erring on the safe side. 1500. We should get 1500. StraytWay says, but that's for a 2.8. We're a bit shallow, so I'm gonna descend a bit less, 1400. A bit less than what StraytWay says. That should increase back to 3 degrees, even 1300. It's 30 nautical miles to our turn-off point. Gonna start watching our speed because we're getting below and switching, of course, our barometer. Like so. And it's 25, not 26. And I'm already gonna light up our landing lights before we forget them. There you go. And then we're set for below. Speed is at 248. Turn a bit to the left. So we should be following the yellow arrow, but we know from the map that if we stay to the right, so if you go here, that's no problem. If you go here, then you shorten you increase your workload. But if you go here, somewhere, it reduces your workload, so there's no terrain restrictions, so there's no problem. And like so. Well, there's no terrain restrictions, but no, that's not gonna be a hazard. That island, Athens, should be somewhere there, and the sun's already setting. Gonna check my pedals already. What we're gonna do is before we 1300, yeah, that's good. Before we hit waypoint number 2, we gonna already switch to our threshold, which is waypoint number 1. Remember, we have to skip waypoint number 4. We have to skip waypoint number 3 because that's our before last waypoint. That's the other threshold of the runway. And then don't forget to switch back to reverse your course again. 2.9. Watch our speed. We're way below 10,000 feet. And this will be a very beautiful sunny descent. This is us. Flying into Athens using a StraytWay. Nautical miles to our waypoint number 2. And from waypoint number 2 to the threshold it will be 14 nautical miles, so that's ample time to stabilize. That's a blue number, so that's the distance between number 2 and number 3. That gives the distance to the next waypoint, between the current waypoint and the next waypoint. And that's of course a stationary number, that doesn't change. 8. So what we're gonna do now, I'm already gonna change to our final threshold, so number 4, not number 3, but number 4. And then change the direction of the course, press the 216. And now we've got the, you see the arrow starts moving already, the CDI needle, that's 2 nautical miles, so we're gonna turn, we're already on center track for the runway. So I'm turning to the heading of 36. Do that manually, you adding bugs to the left, degrees to the left, and now we're about on the and I don't know if you can see it, but there's a runway. We overshot it a bit. And there's our runway. And luckily we avoided this big mountain. So there's the runway. And we'll let StraytWay descend to our pattern altitude and then stabilize. We're gonna fly as long as possible on autopilot. Certainly let the plane level off on autopilot. And our speed has in the meantime, yeah, we're so gonna reduce our speed to flap speed.
Altitude.
Okay. Remember, we're landing runway 3 left. Once you're on the needle, the needle should really point to your. But anyway, we're going VFR pretty soon, and our speed has dropped almost to flaps 15. There we are. We're leveling off. Flaps 15, gear out, flaps 15, and give some power. And now the only thing we need to do is bring our speed under full flaps speed, just slightly, before we still on autopilot. We're almost fully configured for landing, just so our full flaps are missing. Watch the, so we're now at 2 degrees. We'll start descending at 3 degrees. then we disengage the autopilot and set full flaps. It's that easy. And we're certain to be at a perfect descent angle. And StraytWay will also give us a descent rate. So we don't need to have to watch the puppies, we can watch StraytWay. Getting in the green, it means the descent rate is between 2.5 and 3.5. So we're in the green. If we want to, we can already start. We're gonna wait till we are at 2.9, and then we're gonna switch to, switch to autopilot. Full flaps. We're on manual. Sorry. Our descent rate should be 600, so we're descending a bit too fast. So I'm gonna add our speed should go to the green dots. And we're at 700, so that's just fine. Land. A bit low. Minimum. Land. Ooh, we're high. And cut power. I'm ballooning a bit. Touchdown. There's no auto thrust on the citation, so I'm just gonna brake. Flaps up. And welcome to Athens airport. And with all that excitement, we forgot to look at the Acropolis. But that would have been tricky. Sun is just setting in Athens. Oh, missed an exit. Well, we can see that I'm gonna demonstrate StraytWay how to taxi. So I'm gonna stop in the middle of the runway, which of course you normally don't do. And so we're here. I'm gonna get rid of all the our markers and our route. Just click on markers, then everything and the route will be entirely deleted, including the markers. Yes. Go back to where we are, and there you are. So we have, and you can see there is a here is an exit, and when we can taxi back to where are we gonna go? Okay, let's first take that exit here, and just to make sure we don't miss it, put a marker there. you can see the distance, it's 0.7 nautical miles. Oh, here it is already. Now, that of course you would not do in real life, stop in the middle of the runway. There you are. Good thing we lit our... Oh, is that the threshold? Are we already over the runway? I think we are. Okay, so parking brakes and gonna kill the landing lights to taxi lights and our strobe off, and let's get back to StraytWay. And here you see, suppose we wanna... Now these are car parking places. That's not for airplanes. Where we can... Where's the area for parking? That's a bit weird. There's no really... This is the apron, I think. So, yeah. We'll just go to here somewhere. And follow the this line here. And that's the control tower, so I think the airport should be, well, I will take this one to the left. Hopefully that will get us somewhere where we can park. And if we can't, then I'll just take yeah, we'll go to the right here. And aren't those, that looks like a terminal. Yeah. So could it be that we have to cross this... Aha! Apron. Okay, we have to cross this road. And then go... Oh, these are aprons. And this apron south is probably for... okay. For general aviation. Okay, we'll park on apron south. So we're here. And then we're gonna cross that road. That traffic road. And take a right turn here. There's a bit of a delay, and that's also because of the link between Microsoft Flight Simulator and StraytWay. In real life, you wouldn't have this delay. There we are, and this looks like a general aviation. Yeah, well, we'll just the next yellow line to the left we'll take, or we won't wait for that because there won't be any yellow line. So, just gonna pick a place here. the vehicle roads. This looks as good as any other place. And bring it to the stop. There we are. Parking brakes. Welcome to Athens airport. Using StraytWay. And looks we have a nice place. And those are the mountains of Athens. And we are how far away are we from the Acropolis? Here was the Acropolis. Oh yeah, we deleted everything. But luckily I remember it's here. The Acropolis. Put your target there. It says 10 nautical miles. We're 10 nautical miles away. Oh, you can jog that. I mean, I used to. Just keep a mental note, because the next time we leave, we need to, when we start our Microsoft Flight Simulator later, we need to start here. So perhaps I'm gonna put where we are now, put a little marker, like so, and we can start next time at exactly the same place. We continue our route to southeast around the world. But first we'll hit the town in Athens and do a spectacular visit, which I'm not sure you will be able to see. Hope this was I know it was long, and if you stuck with me, wow, because I didn't even stick with myself. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you next time for another episode of this trip, the next leg of this trip around the world. Bye bye.